Now the latest from ITV News Meridian in the South East.
Hello and welcome to ITV News Meridian.
Tonight's headlines: where you are. The talented musician from Faversham killed in a house fire caused by an e-scooter. His family wants them banned.
You would never want to feel how me and my family feel right now, just over something so stupid. So I would just keep away from them.
Results day for A-level, B-Tech and T-level students, with East Sussex one of the best performing counties in England.
Also tonight, the Red Arrows soar over Eastbourne as the South East's biggest air show celebrates its 30th year.
And the stage is set for South Asian Heritage Month. We're in Gravesend and Medway. Good evening. The sister of a musician from Kent who died in a house fire caused by an e-scooter says they should be banned.
Popular busker James Renane was killed in the blaze in Faversham on Saturday. It's now been revealed that e-scooters and e-bikes are the fastest growing fire risk in the UK, as James Dunham now reports.
I know, see how the flames.
Music was everything to James Renane. Punky Jim, as he was affectionately known, gained a large reputation for his performances on streets in towns and cities across the county. James was well known around Kent.
Yeah, definitely. So, like I say, he did a lot of busking around the whole of Kent, so everybody knew him. That's
why James's youngest sister Samantha has been inundated with messages of condolence from many people, shocked and devastated by his tragic death.
I've received lots of messages from people telling me, like, I used to jam with James back in the day. We just go sit in your dad's living room, listen to some rock music. It was his entire life, and I couldn't be more thankful for what everybody has done for me and my family. It's certainly helping us through a really tough time.
James was 44, Samantha 22, decades apart in age, but their bond was incredibly close.
I still don't believe it. It's real. Just waiting for him to message me and just, yeah, love you sis, like he did every night. I just feel like I'm going to find him somewhere, like in the street somewhere, and he's just going to be like, that was mental. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, and it's just not real.
This residential property, ravaged by intense flames, is where the musician lost his life, unable to make it to safety from his room on the first floor. James Renane returned home after enjoying a Friday evening at the pub. But by the early hours of Saturday morning, Mill House was ablaze. Kent Fire and Rescue described the incident as significant, while the investigation into the cause of the fire suggests it started from an e-scooter battery. The lithium batteries on e-scooters don't just catch fire, they can explode in seconds. Fire services have increasingly warned of their potential to be highly destructive if used incorrectly. What would you say to e-scooter owners out there?
Get rid of it. Is it worth it? Like I say, if something can cause that any time, you would never want to feel how me and my family feel right now, just over something so stupid. So I would just keep away from them.
James Renane's grieving family are now asking for donations to help pay for his funeral, struggling to understand that an e-scooter battery could have such catastrophic consequences. James Dunham, ITV News, Faversham.
OK, for some advice now, we're joined from London by Joshua Drew from Electrical Safety First. And in simple terms then, why is there this fire risk associated with e-scooters?
So e-scooters and e-bikes in particular are powered by things called lithium-ion batteries. And they're great if they're safe, but the problem is they contain a huge amount of energy. So to put that into perspective for you, a fully charged e-scooter or e-bike battery could store a similar amount of energy to the TNT that you might find in 6 hand grenades, which, to put it into perspective, is exactly why these fires are so devastating when they happen, and more importantly, why we're calling for new laws to be introduced to make sure that the batteries we bring into our homes are safe.
A lot of power then in these batteries, and for people who own e-scooters, maybe it's on charge in the home right now as they're watching this. What can they do to check it's okay?
So, I mean, first things first is safety really does start with where you shop. So if you're thinking about purchasing one of these devices, the best way to protect yourself is to stick to a reputable high street retailer that you know and trust. That way you can be sure that the device that you're purchasing has been tested and that what you're bringing into your home is safe. But if you already have one of these devices, it's equally as important to consider where and how you're charging it. So absolutely avoid at all costs charging these devices in your escape route. So avoid charging them near the front door, avoid charging them in your bedroom, and absolutely avoid charging them under the stairwell. In the event a fire takes place, you might find that your escape route is compromised if you've done so. Now, we also understand that lots of people from time to time may lose chargers for these devices as well. It's really imperative that you're using a compatible charger to charge your device. So always go back to the original manufacturer or retailer to ensure that any replacement charger you purchase is compatible with your e-bike or e-scooter. Using the wrong one, unfortunately, can present a significant risk of a fire occurring.
Lots of practical tips there. And finally, briefly, what do you think needs to change then in terms of regulation?
So what's become clear, unfortunately, from the amount of fires we're seeing happening around the country is that consumer awareness campaigns alone are not going to be sufficient to tackle the problem. We need new laws brought in by the new government to specifically bring in new safety laws to tackle e-bike and e-scooter fires. And what we want to see introduced is third-party independent certification for these devices. At the moment, manufacturers can self-declare that their e-bikes and e-scooter batteries are safe. We want that to end. So this will bring it into line with rules that already exist for other high-risk products such as fireworks and heavy machinery.
OK, Joshua Drew from Electrical Safety First. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
And in a statement tonight, the Department for Business and Trade says it takes e-scooter and e-bike fires very seriously and is taking action to overhaul product safety laws so that authorities can remove unsafe products from the market as soon as possible.
In other news tonight, an inflatable boat which sank in the English Channel, killing at least 8 migrants, was wholly unsuitable to be on the water, a report has found. The vessel suffered structural failure as it was crossing the Dover Strait in December 22. 39 migrants were rescued, but at least 8 drowned. A report by the Marine Accident Investigation Board said the boat was poorly equipped and the occupants only had mobile phones to raise the alarm.
A woman from Southend who was bitten on the arm by a dog died from her injuries, an inquest has heard. 34-year-old Michelle Hempstead was found in a house with serious injuries to her upper limb. The dog had bitten into an artery and she died later in hospital. The animal, which was not a banned breed, was humanely destroyed. Next tonight, nearly a third of A-level students in the South East were awarded top grades of A or A-star today. As the waiting ended for thousands of teenagers, they now have to make the tough decisions about universities, apprenticeships or jobs. In the chart of English counties with the highest proportion of top grades, East Sussex is among the best performers, coming third. West Sussex, Kent and Essex are mid-table. Tony Green has our report.
After an agonising wait for some, A-level results day at Herne Bay High School and an accompanying range of reactions from the understated to the underwhelmed to the overjoyed.
I was terrified. It was a lot of pressure. It's a lot of months building up to this. So yeah, very scared.
How have you done?
I've done well. I've done really well actually. I'm very happy with what I've achieved. All my hard work paid off.
I was so nervous, but I checked the UCAS in the morning and that really settled my nerves. But yeah, I'm really happy with the results. So.
I am very pleased. I did much better than I expected to, and I will be studying physiotherapy in the Netherlands.
More than half the students here will go to university, but some are taking apprenticeships in architecture, the armed services and aviation.
Yeah, I'm happy. The subject I was really hoping for was A-level maths, and I got a B, so I'm quite happy with that.
What are you going to do with it?
Get my pilot's licence.
I have such hope for this area and such hope for this generation, because not only can they achieve in their scholastic careers, I know that they are going to go forward and they're going to be members of the workforce, but more importantly, really brilliant and positive members of our community.
This is a generation that had to overcome the effects of lockdown and the cost of living crisis. At Newman College in Hove, the students who came in for their results had done exceptionally well.
I'm taking a year out, I'm taking a gap year, but I'm going to go to university next September. I'm not sure where I'm going, but the grades will help me get into a place that I'm wanting to go to.
I got A in maths, A star in geography and an A in economics. But it means I can go to Leeds after my year out. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with that.
A stars in biology and maths, and an A in chemistry and an A in further maths AS. So I'm going on to study medicine at the University of Glasgow.
I was stressed, because I was just worried that I wouldn't get the grades, but I opened it, I was very relieved, I was very happy.
I think this particular cohort, they've had to be much more resilient in terms of how they've approached that jump to Key Stage 5, and they've tackled it with such positivity and such determination, and we are just incredibly proud of what they've achieved.
At more than 30%, the region had the highest percentage of A-star and A grades in England and Wales. Kent's results were well below that, East Sussex considerably better. There is support for those who didn't do as well as expected, but for most students in the South East, today there was something to celebrate. Tony Green, ITV News.
Now, social affairs correspondent Christine Alsford is with us now. Christine, lots of data on days like today. What's it all tell us about who's done well and the bigger picture?
Well, there's been a big improvement in how students from disadvantaged backgrounds have performed, many more of them going on to university than ever before. We've also seen a big rise in the number of individual students getting 3 A stars in their A-levels. When it comes to subjects, maths was the most popular subject this year, again, but things like geography and drama, well, they had the entrant numbers down, so mixed picture.
So how are things looking for universities in our region?
Well, we know that around 4 out of 5 students, 82%, actually gained places at the #1 universities of their choice. But what we're also seeing is that it's been still a really busy time at our universities. At the University of Kent, for example, they've been fielding calls from 8 a.m. this morning, and they've been giving advice to students who've been looking to either change their plans or take up last-minute places.
We're very busy, so our call centre has over 100 call handlers, and our calls are actually up on last year, which we weren't necessarily expecting, sort of with everything that's been reported in the news, and we are pretty much on par with the applications we're receiving to come to the University of Kent as last year.
Well, there's plenty more coverage on our website, and also that has lots of links to support and advice for students who perhaps didn't get the grades that they were hoping for.
Because it's not the end of the world, is it?
It really isn't.
There's
Exams
always an
aren't
opportunity.
everything.
As one door closes, another opens.
Indeed.
Christine, thank you.
Some of the day's other news now, and a dealer who ran a drug line supplying crack cocaine and heroin in Southend has been jailed for 9 years. Shazad Meyer, seen here being arrested by police at an airport, used the drug profits to fund lavish holidays to Paris, Mallorca and Amsterdam and Turkey, all within 4 months.
A man charged with kidnapping after a woman was forced into a car in Hove has appeared in court. Investigations were launched 10 days ago when the woman reported she was grabbed. She'd been approached by a man at the junction of Selborne and Church Road who'd asked her for directions. Cameron Boxall, who's 21 and from Carden Hill in Brighton, has been remanded in custody and will appear at Lewis Crown Court next month.
You're watching ITV News in the Meridian region, still to come.
Celebrating South Asian Heritage Month, we report on events in Gravesend and Medway.
And our winds have been picking up today ahead of an approaching weather front. But what does that mean for the weather as we head towards the weekend? I'll have your latest forecast.
And remember, you can find more on all of today's top stories on our website. It's itv.com/Meridian. If you've got a story you'd like us to cover, please give us a call, 0808 1010 095. And remember, you can follow us on social media as well. We're on Facebook, X and Instagram.
Now, the Red Arrows have opened this year's Eastbourne Air Show. Hundreds of thousands of spectators are expected to line the seafront to watch a variety of displays.
The free international event runs over 4 days. It's now in its 30th year. The show is the largest event of its kind in the South East and provides a major boost to Eastbourne's economy. Here's Tom Savides.
A spectacular way to open Eastbourne Air Show. The Red Arrows take to the sky, leaving a colourful impression. Thrilling spectators who've lined the seafront to watch the displays.
Typhoon's back again. The wing walkers are back again. They weren't here last year, but they're back this year. And we've got the new D-Day memorial flight, which is a new thing, as well as the Battle of Britain memorial flight. So, you know, a lot to look forward to.
The Royal Air Force Band liven up the exhibition area. Hundreds of thousands of people are expected to visit the free show over 4 days.
I've just come down to actually see the air show because I've never seen it, and I've come down to support the Army lads because I work with them.
We're here to come to see the Red Arrows because the last time we come it was overcast and they couldn't fly.
Yes.
So today we've come to see the Red Arrows.
And what is it about the Red Arrows that you like?
They're really good, and they make lots of smoke out the back.
We were expecting it to be bad weather today because last time we had an air show it was bad weather, but I think it's going to be good today.
So what about you? What are you looking forward to?
I'm looking forward to the Lancaster because that's my favourite bomber.
Airborne, as it's known, is celebrating its 30th anniversary. It's the biggest event of its kind in the South East, providing a boost to the local economy.
We're expecting about 500,000 people to visit Eastbourne this weekend. So that's a great advert for Eastbourne because those people will come back. They'll see how lovely the town is, how lovely the seafront is, and they'll come back throughout the year.
Our hotels are packed as well as our B&Bs. When we have Airborne, our restaurants get a lot of trade as well.
On a nice summer's day, Eastbourne seafront is generally busy, but you will have never seen it as packed as this, and that's down to the air show. One of the many air displays over the next few days, amazing the crowds. Tom Savides, ITV News, Eastbourne.
From one big event to another, because South Asian Heritage Month, we're highlighting lots of events that have been taking place across Kent over the past few weeks and the organisers behind them.
In Gravesend, around 700 people gathered at a park to watch a traditional Punjabi folk dance at a women-only event. And in Medway, there was a talent show for many. It was their first time performing on stage. Megan Samrai was there.
Dancing in the open on a summer's day, more than 700 women have flocked to Gravesend, celebrating a festival that marks the start of the monsoon season in India. Although there's no rain in sight, the Kent Sahelli group are performing Gidda, a traditional Punjabi folk dance, along with Bolia, which are folk songs. Sahelli means female friendship, and the group was started 33 years ago to support women who arrived from India to start a whole new life.
I came to England in '64. I was teacher in India and came here and found a job, and I realized that the ladies who didn't go to school in India, they were so isolated. They just learned a few words, you, me, thank you, milk, bread. That was their conversation with the outside world. Then so I was thinking right from here, I should do something for these ladies, I should do something. And started this group in '91.
Over the years, they've taught women sports like badminton and even released their own books. For many, the group represents the bond between women, once isolated, who found sisterhood in Gravesend. And that bond couldn't be stronger between Sandeep and Manpreet. They've been in the group for 20 years and have been inseparable ever since.
I've heard a rumour that you're both best friends, is that right?
You can call that. You can call that. We are best friends. We are like sisters, really. I would have never thought when I came to this country that one day I can stand in front of 700 women and talk freely.
It gives me that sense of like, God, I'm back home.
It reminds us of our childhood.
Yes, yeah, we are a girl. We feel like a girl today.
Yeah, of our grandmothers and mothers and aunties.
Further east in Gillingham, there's more performances taking place at a talent show by community group Sahara. They support older South Asian people in Medway through wellbeing activities. Volunteers and service users showed off their singing, and there was even a fashion show.
I liked it, and I never done this before, but it was nice to have a part in the talent show.
Now I've retired, didn't have anything to do in my pastime. We look forward to coming here. It's so nice. So every month we think, oh, we're going to Sahara, so what are we going to wear?
There's a gap in what's available for older South Asian people because there are cultural barriers and there are language barriers that mean that they're not able to access mainstream services, or if they are able, they're not able to sort of get the most out of them. So they needed a place which felt familiar, felt like home. They didn't feel othered.
The elephants passed by our camp.
One act brought his home to Kent, showcasing his sketches of African wildlife inspired by his childhood, growing up in the foothills of Mount Kilimanjaro.
My father was an artist. He was an artist teacher. And right from the childhood, we used to get a lot of camping and safaris around that area. I think it's genetic because I've never been to any art school. Drawing animals is really fun.
I was singing a bhajan. I used to live in a small town, and my mom used to have bhajans all the time in the house. After coming to this country, got married, had children, and had no chance of doing that sort of things.
Sahara means support in Punjabi and Hindi, and the group hopes its free activities like exercise and day trips mean these people will always have someone to turn to. Megan Samurai, ITV News.
Well, the sun was shining in Gravesend there and in Eastbourne. So many great events, having the perfect weather, Holly. Is it going to last?
Well, it's been a little bit breezy, but yeah, like you say, the sun has been out today, cloud thickening now. It was also shining in Sandwich here, you can see captured by John Doherty, just a little bit of fair weather cloud there. But yeah, going downhill a bit now with the weather front approaching, but actually Friday into the weekend, got some nice weather to come.
And what's this talk next week of the remnants of a hurricane?
Oh, I knew you'd bring that up. Just the remnants before anyone gets too excited. Do you remember our last spell of warmth? I sort of blamed really on ex-hurricane Debbie. Well, now we're looking at what will be ex-hurricane Ernesto, or the remnants of Ernesto. Take a look at what's happening, because we're not quite sure exactly how it's going to pan out. This is where it is at the moment, sadly affecting Bermuda during the first part of this weekend. It'll move northeastwards, give a glancing blow to Newfoundland at the beginning of next week. But by the middle of next week, it's in the Atlantic. By this time, no longer a hurricane, of course, and it could do sort of one of three things, really. So it could push its way down towards the continent, and that will probably give us, that's a 20% chance of that will give us probably changeable, coolish weather, nothing very exciting. It could head its way up towards the northwest of the UK. This is the most likely scenario, that's about a 70% chance, and that would give some very wet and windy weather there, but for us probably a bit blustery, some rain, probably on the warm side. The other chance is that it heads its way up towards Iceland, that's about a 10% chance, high pressure builds in, and that could give some settled and potentially very warm weather, some hot conditions. So a lot could happen next week. In the meantime, though, we have got some decent weather, I think, to be enjoyed for the weekend. Here's your forecast.
Whatever the weather, it always feels like home. Valent Heat Pumps and Boilers sponsor ITV Meridian Weather.
Conditions out there tending to go downhill then as we head through tonight ahead of an approaching weather front. So that does bring out breaks of rain, a humid filter tonight as well. But then brighter skies as we head through tomorrow. It might start wet, but it should clear through fairly swiftly. And yes, we should have a decent look as we push into the weekend. So this is the weather front responsible for tonight's rain. As I say, that does clear through. There's a very small risk of some rain on Saturday, but I think in all likelihood it'll stay dry, it'll be bright, and it'll be a bit fresher than it has been of late, but actually given some sunshine, I think that should make things feel quite pleasant. Out there this evening, more cloud pushing in. We've got this southwesterly, quite a brisk wind actually, especially into the coast, and you can see these outbreaks of rain spilling in, and some of these could be quite lively as well. A humid field to tonight, lows of 17 or 18 degrees there, perhaps even 19 for the odd place. So yes, quite a sticky one, and potentially a wet start to tomorrow. Now I do think this rain will clear through fairly swiftly and skies should brighten. So some sunshine to be had for tomorrow. And as I say, the air itself is just turning a little bit fresher perhaps, but given the sunshine, we're looking at highs of 24 or 25 degrees and less of a breeze around than today as well, which will probably make things feel that bit nicer too. Our high tide times got Margate at 9:40 and again at 10:21 as we push into the evening. So yes, as we head into the weekend, we've got that fresher air with us. We've got some sunshine around, the winds not doing much either. So we should be looking at temperatures in the low 20s, possibly pushing up to mid 20s locally. Probably a quiet start to next week before some rain edges our way on Tuesday. Take care.
Valent Heat Pumps and Boilers sponsor ITV Meridian Weather.
23 at the weekend, you can't complain at that, can
take
you?
that.
And in just a moment, the ITV Evening News with Charlene White.
Stacey has your late news, but for now, from all the team here at ITV News Meridian, thank you very much for watching. We do appreciate it, and we'll see you very soon.
See you tonight.
Bye-bye.
Good night.